respected Sri.K. Jayakumar IAS, former Chief Secretary, Government of Kerala, and currently Director, Institute of Management in Government, Dr. Gopakumaran Nair, Chief General Manager, NABARD, Dr. Manju Nair, Professor, Department of Economics and Organizing Secretary of this seminar, faculty members of the Department of Economics, Professor A.K. Prasad, Professor Anita, Dr. Christabel PG, Sri.K, research scholars, students, and other distinguished participants. Hearty welcome to the two-day national seminar on SDG 3, SDG 2, Zero Hunger, Ensuring Food Security for All, organized by the Department of Economics in collaboration with National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. As you know, the theme of this national seminar, Ensuring Food Security for All, is of utmost importance. Out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 2 seeks sustainable solutions to end hunger in all its forms by 2030 and to achieve food security. For this, it's crucial to understand and address the immediate effects of hunger and malnutrition, and at the same time identifying the root causes and interventions by promoting sustainable agriculture is essential. Definitely, this seminar will provide a platform for deliberations and discussions on different dimensions of providing food security for all. Professor Manju Nair, Organizing Secretary, will explain further details about the seminar later. We are grateful to NABARD for collaborating with us in organizing this seminar on this very important theme. Sri.K. Jayakumar IAS, former Chief Secretary, Government of Kerala, and former Vice Chancellor of Tunchathu Malayalam University, has kindly consented to inaugurate this seminar. Sri Jayakumar sir is currently the Director of Institute of Management in Government. As you all know, Jayakumar sir is a famous poet, lyricist, and a prolific writer who has authored numerous books in Malayalam and English. He has always been a source of inspiration to all of us, and I understand that he is a former teacher of the University of Kerala also. On behalf of the Department of Economics and all participants of this program, I welcome you, sir, to this program. Dr. Gopakumaran Nair ji, Chief General Manager, NABARD, has kindly consented to deliver the special address today. Dr. Gopakumaran Nair has vast experience in the field of developmental banking, and NABARD has published 12 of his study reports on topics related to agricultural credit, agricultural commodities, and agricultural investment. He is also associated with many committees and task forces set up by Government of India as well as various state governments. On behalf of all participants and the Department of Economics, I welcome you, sir, to this function. Dr. S. Nazeeb, Member Syndicate and Convener of Academic and Research Committee, University of Kerala, will join us for offering felicitations in this program. In his absence, I extend a hearty welcome to Dr. S. Nazeeb also. I take this opportunity to welcome Professor Manju Nair, the Organizing Secretary of this seminar, and also congratulations to Professor Manju Nair for the meticulous arrangements and also for the selection of the topic as well as research papers. I would like to welcome my colleagues at the Department of Economics, Professor A.K. Prasad, Professor Anita, Dr. Christabel, and Sri.K. I take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to officials from NABARD, faculty, research scholars, and students from various universities and colleges who have joined this inaugural session of this two-day seminar. And there are many other distinguished participants who are presenting papers in this seminar. I extend a hearty welcome to all of them, and I'm sure that this event will be an enlightening experience for all the participants, and I wish all success to this seminar. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Respected Sri.K. Jayakumar IAS, former Chief Secretary, Government of Kerala, and currently Director of IMG. Respected Dr. Gopakumaran Nair, Chief General Manager, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. respected Dr. Sri.K, Professor and Head of the Department, my colleagues Professor Prasad and Christabel, teacher, other invited guests, Nair and Unisar, Geeta and Vijay Lakshmi, Mini and Valsala will be talking in the next session, other teachers, friends and dear students. So I would also like to welcome you to this national seminar on SDG 2, Zero Hunger, Ensuring Food Security for All. And my purpose is to introduce the theme to you. And I'll be very brief because we have two very important speakers here. And as students of social science, you know that the World Commission on Environment and Development defines sustainable development as one which meets the needs of the current generation without compromising the needs of the future generation. And in the UN summit that was held in 2015, the Sustainable Development Goals were set. And we have 17 sustainable goals, development goals with 169 targets. And world over, there has been serious attempts at transforming the world towards attaining this sort of a development by 2030. We call it the Sustainable Development Metrics. And we know hunger has been a threat to the attainment of these goals, and hence Sustainable Development Goal 2 has been set as zero hunger, ensuring food security, improved nutrition and sustainable agriculture. That's a whole tag that we have. And you know how important is nutrition and agricultural sustainability with respect to eliminating hunger. And as per the later World Hunger Statistics, what we see is that around 9 billion of the people in the world die out of hunger everywhere. And the projection is that by 2030, still 8% of the population will be in this scenario, which means it's the same percentage that we have when this was declared in 2015. Maybe the pandemic, the global tensions that we have, the climate change, etc., may be augmenting the situation. And coming to India, what we see is that being the largest democracy in the world, India has a very important role in attaining this. And India enacted the National Food Security Act in 2013. But we know mere enactment of the act won't solve problem because there are issues of accessibility, affordability, the malnutrition that we speak of, the unsustainable agricultural practices, lots and lots of issues we have. So I'm not detailing on that. I'll just like to speak on Kerala because, and you know, India's score in the Sustainable Development Index is 66 only. That means India has to attain much more, go forward in this regard, whereas within the goals, India's score in zero hunger is only 44. That means India is at a very negative stage with reference to this goal. So in Kerala also, we speak of Kerala as a forerunner, like in everything, the Kerala experience of development. In this also Kerala stands. In the attainment of sustainable development goals also Kerala stands far ahead compared to other states. But in SDG 2, we are again having the problem. The score is only 44 in relation to the other goals. And we know the issues. We know why Kerala is a forerunner in other aspects, maybe because of the institutional mechanism that we have, the monitoring systems that we follow, the decentralized system of administration, the politically aware population, the very vibrant local self-governments. These are the reasons maybe why Kerala is acting forward. But we have the issues like what we see in Attapadi in 2013, we had around 36 children, infants dying out of malnourishment. Packages have been announced and money has been pumped into the region. Still now we face the same problem. And you have, as part of several outreach programs, we have been visiting and documenting the issues of malnourishment in the tribal settlements. So that's a very serious issue. Again, regarding the agricultural practices that we follow, that's why we have invited people like Nair and Unisar to share with you his experience of how sustainable agriculture has been and the different failed policies of organic policy, the good agricultural policy that we announced in 2018. And of late, when we had the COVID-19 pandemic, there was an agroecological revolution. We thought there would be a revolution because there were lots of nudges right from the speeches that were made by the Chief Minister to revamping agriculture, to the Subisha Kerala project. And what do we see after 2 years? So we returned back to the normal at a very, the so-called normal at a very fast rate. So these issues we think we would like to discuss in this seminar, and that is why we have given this as the theme SDG 2, Zero Hunger. And I am not elaborating because we have a theme paper on this where we have mentioned or elaborated on the different targets of the sub-targets of SDG 2, that is improved nutrition, then improved investment in agriculture, elimination of hunger, those things, and India's progress, Kerala's progress, the issues, everything is detailed. So you can have a reference on the theme paper to understand the whole dynamics of SDG 2 that is happening in our at national level and at the state level. So that's the context of developing an idea of this seminar, and we are very happy that many of the students and teachers and well-wishers and people who are interested in this area have joined here. And we are very fortunate as organizing secretary to have Dr. Gopakumaran Nair here, because he is also a scholar, PhD scholar from University of Kerala, and he is now the Chief General Manager, and I feel that he is very confident with the Department of Economics. That is why he has supported us with this collaboration. And personally, I have undertaken several impact evaluation studies for NABARD. One was in RLM, where we met Mini here, so he is the first the person. I think this might be her second address in the public domain. I'm happy that Valsala Madam has also come over with her, and that's a context that we would like to place here. So special thanks and welcome to our dear and respected Gopakumaran sir to this program. And when we decided on organizing this seminar, we were very particular that we should have our dear and respected Jayakumar sir to this program, because സസ്റ്റൈനബിലിറ്റി, സുസ്ഥിരതയെക്കുറിച്ച് സംസാരിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ജയകുമാർ സാർ തന്നെ വേണമെന്ന് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അത്ര നിർബന്ധമായിരുന്നു. കാരണം 30 വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് മുമ്പ് 1994 പക്ഷേ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സിനിമയിലെ സൂര്യാംശം ഏതോ വയൽപ്പൂവിലും എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സാറിൻ്റെ ഗാനമാണോ കവിതയാണോ എന്ന് എനിക്ക് വിളിക്കണം എന്നറിയില്ല. ഇത്രയധികം സസ്റ്റൈനബിലിറ്റിയെക്കുറിച്ചോ അഗ്രോ എക്കോളജിക്കലായിട്ടുള്ള എലമെൻറ്റ്സ് നിറഞ്ഞു നിൽക്കുന്ന ഒരു കവിത ഇനി മലയാളത്തിൽ ഉണ്ടാകാനേ പോകുന്നില്ല എന്നാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഒരു വിശ്വാസം, ഉറപ്പാണ്. കാരണം മണ്ണിൻ്റെ പ്രാർത്ഥനയെക്കുറിച്ചും വിണ്ണിൻ്റെ ആശംസയെക്കുറിച്ചും ചമ്പകം പൂക്കുന്നതിനെക്കുറിച്ചും പൈങ്കിളിയെക്കുറിച്ചും മാമ്പു മണക്കുന്നതിനെക്കുറിച്ചും he is speaking upon the integration that is happening between the nature and what human being. I thought we would write a research paper on sustainability on the basis of the 10 agroecological elements that is found in his poem and what FAO has published. So it's very linking and very energizing to hear that song again and again. So we have skipped the prayer song, and we thought we will have this song as the prayer song here, sir, in order to place on record our sense of appreciation and gratitude and respect that we have towards an administration who always keeps a creative mind within him. So I invite two of my dear students to recite, maybe to sing that song.
വയൽപ്പൂവിലും വൈരം പതിക്കുന്നു. വൈരം പതിക്കുന്നു. ശ്രീമന്ത കുങ്കുമശ്രീയണിക്കുന്നു. ചമ്പകം മണ്ണിന്റെ പ്രാർത്ഥനാലാവണ്യമായി വിണ്ണിന്റെ ആശംസയായി സൂര്യാംശൂരൂപയൽപ്പൂവിൽ വൈരം പതിക്കുന്നു. ഈ കാട്ടലിഞ്ഞിക്കു പൂവാടയും കൊണ്ടീ വഴി മാധവം വന്നു. പാൽക്കതിർപ്പാടത്തു പാറിക്കളിക്കും പൈങ്കിളിക്കുള്ളം കുളിർത്തു. മാമ്പൂ മണക്കും വെയിലിൽ മോഹം മാണിക്യകനികളായി മാണിക്യകനികളായി. ആതിരാക്കാറ്റിൻ്റെ ചുണ്ടിൽ മൃദുസ്മിതം ശാലീനഭാവം രചിച്ചു. ഇന്നീ പകൽ പക്ഷി പാടുന്ന പാട്ടിൽ ഓരോ കിനാവും തളിർത്തു. സോപാനദീപം തെളിയുന്ന ദിക്കിൽ സൗഭാഗ്യതാരോദയം, സൗഭാഗ്യതാരോദയം.
വൈരം പതിക്കുന്നുവോ കുങ്കുമ സ്ത്രീയണിഞ്ഞു ചമ്പകം പൂക്കുന്നു. മണ്ണിന്റെ പ്രാർത്ഥനാലാവണ്യമായി വിണ്ണിന്റെ ആശംസയായി, വിണ്ണിന്റെ ആശംസയായി സൂര്യാംശുരോ വയൽ പോലും വൈരം പതിക്കുന്നു.
Dr. Nair, Dr. Gopakumaran Nair, distinguished teachers and dear students. I thank you for inviting me to this very important two-day seminar. Not because I have a lot of things to share, not because I am an economist, but because it is always a pleasure to come back to where I started. I was a lecturer here in those days. We were not assistant professors lecturer long ago. In the, I don't know what is it called today. Now it was the Institute of Correspondence course at that time. I was one of the first two lecturers or three lecturers to be appointed there. It was as early as in 1977. Yeah. 1977, I had just completed my IAS exam and was finishing and expecting the results. Then I got this job. So University of Kerala had been my sort of employer. Prior to that also, I was with the publication department. So one's association with the university and Karivattam campus goes back to so many years back, and it's always a pleasure to come back. The years that have gone away in between may not come back, but the memories can always come back. Then, I also thank you for the great faith you have reposed in me and having selected me to inaugurate this. Although I am not a known economist, nor somebody who has done any research work on poverty reduction or things like that. But when I met Mr. Gopakumaran Nair briefly in your office, I was reassured that I have some eligibility or claim to stand here and talk to you a few words about poverty alleviation or sustainable development goals, because as the Agricultural Production Commissioner of Kerala for 3-4 years, I had worked with NABARD very closely at the state level as well as at your central level, as I was on their director board for nearly 2 or 3 years. And I had the opportunity that way to understand how the resources available with NABARD is differentially utilized by states across the country. Kerala doesn't have a very good reputation of being one of the finest spenders, not at all. We are very good in getting schemes sanctioned, but when it comes to utilization of funds, I'm sure he will explain it to you more. Although Kerala has wonderful records in so many areas, particularly on poverty and hunger alleviation, but there are so many areas where the administrative culture of Kerala is found wanting, if I may put it in very polite terms. I do not want to waste your time on such generalizations. I shall rather stick to, and thirdly, I should also thank you for reading so much of economic wisdom, ecological and economic wisdom into my song, which may not be entirely unfounded. I should also say that. Anyway, as a person, as a poet living close to nature, as an economist, I don't have any claims, but as a poet living close to nature, if you find such meanings into it, I am not surprised. That's a different route altogether. I shall talk particularly about your topic about positioning SDG 2 in the 2030 Sustainable Development Matrix. Sometimes, these words frighten me. Matrix, and there is such a paradigm, matrix. These are academically very favorite words. Academicians are very fond of such expressions. But we in government are ignorant about these things. We are ignorant about many things. About academic terms also we are ignorant. So I will talk to you about these things in a very pragmatic style. You should have to translate it into academic, if I may say so, into academic jargon. So I will talk to you only hard facts, whatever I know. See, poverty, these are the first two goals of the SDG 2, there is no poverty and zero hunger. It arose from the first millennium goal, elaborated into no poverty and zero hunger, first two goals of the SDG 2. As we know that it was adopted in 2015 with a time frame of 15 years, that is by 2030, we should be able to achieve, the world thought that we will achieve these sustainable development goals. And we now know that halfway through from 2015, we have walked 7 to 8 years, and we are in 2023. And what is left to reach 2030 is only 7 years are left. And we know when we reach 2030, nothing spectacular will happen in this world. Not by way of sustainable development goals. I'm not sounding cynical, but we know that the time available with us to achieve this goal of no poverty and zero hunger, it is fairly impossible to achieve this in the next 7 years. We might sound even more pessimistic today, more than when it was announced in 2015. 2015, it was a different world. When this announcement was made, the world was a different place. Today in 2023, the world has changed much from what it was in 2015, because in between we had the pandemic, and pandemic is a simple word, but its ramifications are enormous. The socio-economic disruptions that it has created, joblessness it has created, frustrations it has created, lot of the kind of multiplier effect of the pandemic. The global community is set to reckon with the kind of the multifarious or the multiplier effect of the pandemic and the disruptions that it has made. As if misfortune is not enough, we have the raging war in Ukraine. And it also has multiplier effects. It has your impact on your imports, your exports, your oil price. Generally, the fungibility of resources, everything goes into financing the war for no purpose. World resources are also sucked into producing more weapons so that you can sell more weapons in Ukraine and you can make a lot of money. So war creates its own vacuums, and vacuums have to be filled up, So war also has disastrous consequences. Then of course the climate change has even been aggravated in 2023, slightly more than what it was in 2015. The Paris Climate Agreement, we know, our our friend Donald Trump walked out of it. I think now they have rejoined, and nothing happened in in UK. When did they meet? The last summit. Nothing much is happening on the climate front as well. One should not believe the noises that are being made in certain newspapers or media. If you read consistently a particular newspaper, you will think that India is almost overtaking United States as a world leader. It's all mass hysteria, obfuscating the ground realities which are hurtful. So India has not reached anywhere. Our situation has only worsened. Not only India, the world situation has worsened. Even sound economies like the Scandinavian economies are also feeling the pinch. Everybody is feeling the pinch. China, of course, is feeling the pinch, but we do not know how much they feel it. But definitely the world, to put it shortly, to cut a long story short, the world is not in a better shape than it was in 2015. Rather, we are confronted with new sets of problems and challenges today, which we really do not know when humankind would overcome them and grapple with the real hardcore human realities like hunger and poverty. Then there are so many others. We are now focusing only on these two. So Ukraine war and the price rise, inflation. Almost all economies are going through inflation, faced with inflation. Recession, inflation, price rise, unemployment. Everything is rampant. Opportunities are shrinking. Of course, after the pandemic-induced crisis, slowly the world is coming out of it, no doubt. But then, when the world goes through difficult times, who are the biggest sufferers? It is not the most powerful people with political clout or economic clout. It is the vulnerable people, the poor, who feels the pinch of every bad thing that is happening in this world. Whether it is war in Ukraine, it is the poor elsewhere in sub-Saharan Africa or somewhere in India who are the sufferers, directly or indirectly. If the world is undergoing through a crisis, the pinch of the crisis is felt not by the rich and the influential, but by the poor in all the countries. Therefore, it is a poor man's problem. It is a poor man's problem. The rich man has the resources, but he doesn't it doesn't pinch him, it doesn't hurt him. So every crisis in the world, the sufferer is the already suffering lot. That is the most important. The already suffering lot is the sufferer again. Of course, new sufferers are added. Somebody who loses his job, his only source of income, is also a sufferer. So deprivation has different phases, and the worst sufferer is, of course, the poor man. Then the conflict zones in this world today. Syria is still in a conflict zone. Iran, Iraq, our Rohingyas. Myanmar is passing through difficult times. So all over the world there are conflict zones which generate large number of migrants. Migration is not a happy game. It is not going on a picnic. You are leaving everything that is dear to you and accumulated over a few years and leaving away for life, not even for livelihood, for keeping your life. For being alive, you flee your favorite, your place of your origin, where you have been habituated. So it's a very, very painful, traumatic process. We in Kerala may not have seen migrants. So war-induced migration is not a happy event. So all these misfortunes are happening in the world, and we are talking about achieving zero poverty in the next 7 years. I am only trying to juxtapose these two situations just to tell you the impossibility of the dream. Not saying that undesirability of the dream, extremely desirable, but impossible time frame. Exacerbated by events which are not even in our control. I will not take this discussion on the conventional route because there are a lot of other papers going to be presented here. I am going to the causes of this. Amartya Sen, who is well known for his study on poverty, Bengal famine, and his theory of entitlements. So his theory is that during the Great Bengal famine, it was not the non-availability of food. It was not that food was not there. Food grains was there. There were sufficient food grains. If you go by a statistical calculation, yes, so much of food grains divided by number of people, the sufficient food was available. But then there was massive hunger. Massive hunger in the sense that it was the greatest famines in human history, the Great Bengal famine. Why did that famine take place? And from there he develops his theory. That is, what is the cause of a famine or cause of this kind of deprivation is not the non-availability of food, but lack of entitlements. That is his theory. Lack of entitlements. It is lack of entitlement which deprives you from your access to food. Availability is there, it is available, but no accessibility. It is not accessible. That access to food, access to livelihood is a social entitlement. It is your entitlement. That is why when there is an outbreak of famine, it is the urban poor that die more than the rural poor. Particularly in India. Why? Because in a rural setup, there is some kind of a social entitlement. So and so has no food in her family, so let us give something. Somebody learns about it, this family is starving. Somebody tells somebody, and something is, because somebody is known to somebody. And that somebody known to somebody is the social entitlement. For example, if I die on the street, supposing on a midnight I die in the street, I'm not worried because I have a social entitlement by which people recognize me and take me to hospital or mortuary, wherever it is. That is my social entitlement. I have earned a kind of social entitlement. Even if I lose my purse or anything anywhere in this country, I'm not worried. I only ring up the local collector saying that I'm a 1978 batch IAS officer. Can you help me? I'm in strike. That belief that anywhere in this country I am not forlorn, I am not forsaken, I am not deprived, I am not alone. That is the greatest emboldening factor. I am talking about me just to illustrate this point. Anywhere, when my wife was going away for somewhere on a tour with 2 other women, I said, don't worry, even whenever you have a problem, if you are really in trouble, there will be a collector in the district. You find out the number of the collector on the nearest police station and talk to him. He will rescue you, no problem. That is the entitlement that an IAS officer has. That is much more valuable than any kind of money I may have in my bank. I may not be a billionaire, but this kind of social entitlement gives you the kind of sense of protection. Poverty hits you, massive famine hits you when you are deprived of the social entitlement. You are nobody. You have no recourse. Nobody knows you. You may starve and die, none of my concern. I said about displacement and migration. War-induced displacement and migration. Massive number of families migrating. What is the first casualty is their social entitlement is lost. The place of their origin where they were living for 30 years, 40 years, their forefathers living there, in a rural setting, they will never die of starvation. But displaced, they are nobodies, they are zeros, traveling in search of food. They will die, they will perish because, as Amartya Sen would say, they are deprived of social entitlement. Why I say this is because we have to correlate it with our own governance initiatives, where I'll come to that later. I think we have to rediscover the social entitlement value in poverty administration or anti-poverty, poverty alleviation administration. This entitlement dimension has to take a center stage rather than our bureaucratic tinkering, if I may say so. I'll come to that. I'll try to finish it as early as possible. So it is not lack of availability, but lack of entitlements. As you see, every one of us is different capitals. We may not be capitalists, but when we live in a community, we have social capital, we have our intellectual capital, we have our human resource capital. These are the multiple capitals with which we live, isn't it? You have a friend with you, it's a human capital, isn't it? People recognize you, it's a social capital. And so this kind of lack of capital makes a person totally incapacitated and vulnerable to poverty and eventual perish. So India's record in the last 7 years in achieving these sustainable development goals too, particularly poverty and hunger, elimination of poverty and hunger, I don't think it is a very success story, to put it in mild terms. Because undernourishment went up from, I'm not good in statistics, that's why I never took economics. It was 14.8% in 2013, undernourishment. Today it is 16.3, only going up by 1.4% every year. 16.3 is the undernourishment, which was 14, and in developed countries it is zero. It is zero, minus. Under 5 mortality is 3.3%. There are a lot of statistics which is not at all complimentary or it's not a feel-good statistics at all, because almost on every statistics our record is going down. And the explanation, the bureaucrats would say that 2 years, COVID-19 and nothing to be done. That was the year that something should have been done because people are in strife. Anyway, so we are not World Bank or the World Hunger Report. I went through it. There are 5 categories, I think. We are somewhere in the middle, which is called a serious category. Not critical, but serious. Slowly you could be admitted into the critical, to the ventilator ward and all, So we are in the serious category. Who are a large number, and who are our neighbors, who are our friends in this category, the serious category? You have Pakistan, you have Nepal, you have Bangladesh, you have Ethiopia, you have all kinds of people with whom we are not very happy to be neighbors with, because we are a $5 trillion economy. We are Vishwaguru, and but Vishwaguru's neighbors are not very good. Ethiopia, Djibouti. I'm not saying that they are all bad countries. They are very poor, absolutely badly managed countries, absolutely mismanaged economies. So we are in that country. Now, what I'm trying to say is, are we really serious about? That is the question I would like to pose. Are we really serious about zero hunger and elimination of poverty? SDG 2 might be very serious about it. World Bank and UN are very serious about these things, but are we serious? Or who is serious about SDG? That's the second question. Are we serious about SDG, particularly these 2 goals? And who is serious about SDG? Are we bureaucrats serious about SDG 2? I don't know. Are our political leaders and the government as a whole serious about SDG 2? I doubt. They are serious about so many other things. Governance takes place. But whether these 2 goals have received the priority it should occupy. Because what else is priority? To ensure that people do not starve. Today, Abhijit Banerjee is in town at 11:30. He's giving a talk, whose Nobel Prize is on experiential economics, about hunger, about poverty, about hunger and poverty. That is his, because I remember one sentence of his. He says, the poor are not irrational. They are highly rational people. But then the system doesn't utilize their rationality, and that is how they are deprived. So he has studied poverty in several parts of the world, and understood how the poor take their decisions. In deprivation, how do they take their decisions? A mother would starve till she dies, provided she can save the child. It's a rational decision that she takes. So it's a very wonderful book. 2 of his books I have read. So today he is in town incidentally, who got Nobel Prize on his theory of poverty. So are we serious about it? If so, all our programs would have centered around ensuring that in the next 5 years, India is going to have a zero hunger. It's not impossible. India produces so much of food. We export food. So per capita availability of food is not an issue. Then where is the issue? Issue is that I'm not blaming a particular government. That is a problem in India today. You can't say anything. You would be immediately interpreted as you are pro or anti. I am neither anti nor pro, but I am only pro-poor, that is all. Pro-human. Pro-human. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are anti somebody or pro somebody, not at all. But for any government to accomplish a particular goal which is held dear, there are certain parameters. One, what are the instruments that the government has? One, it should be guided by a very clear policy. A policy, economic policy as well as social policy. I will come to 4 or 5 things. Then the policy should be followed up by very well defined programs to achieve these policy objectives. Programs will ensure that resources are diverted and programs are designed in such a way that the objectives are met. I'm talking about theory. Not only programs also should talk about how the services are delivered, how we are going to achieve this by delivering the right kind of goods or services at the right time to the right people. Delivery. Over and above this, there should be an overarching guidance, guiding ethos of the government and bureaucracy. Ethos in the sense, come what may, this is the objective that I am going to achieve. And we cannot slip on this. There should be a guiding ethos. Guiding ethos should be unequivocal. You cannot, as an English phrase says, you cannot, run with the hound and hunt with the deer. What is it? Run with the deer and hunt with the hounds, or whatever it is. You can't do two opposite things simultaneously. You cannot be promoting the rich and powerful oligarchies on one side and bringing out laws that would incapacitate the farmers and then talk about alleviating poverty. You cannot live in contradictions. That is what I said. We should have a guiding ethos where everybody talks and acts the same thing. Then finally, ownership and local participation. No policy can succeed unless it is owned by the local people, local community, and local participation. So I think these 5 elements will decide the success of any initiative of any government. Not only Indian government, Kerala government, any government in the world has to have a clear policy. Now, if we translate it into Indian situation, is our policy pro-poor? Is it in favor of eliminating hunger? Our economic policy as well as social policy. Our economic policy, where government is rolling back from all kinds of social interventions, from all kinds of social sectors, in the name of certain neoliberal ideological compulsions. World Bank pundits and Economic Times pundits, if I may name a paper. The pundits who write in Economic Times get excited by the word reforms, economic reforms. What does economic reform mean to them? Government quitting all areas of social intervention. Government taking away all subsidies and allowing the free market, the invisible arm of the market, to guide everything and achieve social justice. The theories are sound, and government is not a bundle of saints. We have heard, we have sinned. Bureaucracy has done hundreds of wrong things, yet bureaucracy is necessary. Governments are necessary. Governments cannot say that the market is ultimate, so we are here to facilitate the market achieve its socio-economic objectives. Sometimes it goes to the extreme, to the ridiculous extent of saying that market will take care of everything. Markets take care of only the profit of the investor. That is all. Market is not interested in your social security. Market is not interested in social justice. Market is not interested in equality. Market doesn't survive on equality, rather market survives in inequality. Now, how does a neoliberal economic policy where government goes away from government exits all kinds of areas? Some areas might be bad. For example, our fertilizer subsidy. The way it is administered is wrong. But that doesn't mean that fertilizer subsidy itself has to go away. I really do not know. The area that I have opened here is a very vast area. The 1991, the liberal economic policy that Dr. Manmohan Singh announced for India, I am not blaming that. At that time it might have been necessary. But then today, the project liberalism is a questioned policy all over the world. There are several books, even I am reading several books which says that globalization has failed. Globalization has failed. The discontents of globalization, Stigler's book. There are a lot of books coming out which says that globalization is a failed project. COVID-19 has really exposed the fault lines in the new economic policy. And today, Indian government follows this kind of slightly outdated liberal economic policies in all sectors. I am not drawing my salary from government of India. I draw my pension from government of Kerala. So, nor am I bound by all India service rules. I am a retired fellow, I am now accountable only to government of Kerala insofar as Institute of Management is concerned. That is all. Therefore, this new liberal economic policies in the post-pandemic period is a questionable intervention. Can governments go away from everywhere? So the policy framework, the social and economic policy, then programs. There are so many yojanas and the delivery mechanism. Is anybody talking about improving delivery mechanism? I doubt. On the building of the World Bank, I am told, I have not seen it, what is written there is our dream is a world without poverty. I think we should recommend to the World Bank that please remove the word dream and insert the word aim, because otherwise it will always remain a dream. They should rewrite it as our aim is a world without poverty. They have put their dream is a world without poverty. With that aim, 1.2 billion people are even today living below with only $1 a day. $1 a day, 1.2 billion people, and 2.8 billion people live in less than $2 a day, 160 rupees a day. നമ്മുടെ മിനിമം കൂലി 1000 രൂപയാണ് ഇവിടെ. കേരളം പോലെ അല്ല എല്ലാ രാജ്യവും. Why we have a lot of people coming from Bihar and UP? Because അവിടെ മിനിമം വേജ് 100 രൂപയാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ. ഈ $2 ആണ്, $160 രൂപ. Kerala, of course, by the enlightened social policies that we have followed, we are a slightly different experience here. Now, liberalization and privatization are not panacea. They are not ottamonigalalla. We have to have guarded liberalization and guarded globalization and guarded privatization, and government exiting from all areas of social justice is not the ultimate solution to achieve social justice. Not at all. We have to have a mix. Bureaucracy should be more accountable and more efficient, no doubt about it. But at the same time, it is not replacement of bureaucracy or government machinery by the private sector is not the answer. Unfortunately, government of India today is chasing that kind of a dream. As a result, wealth creation is going on merely in this country, and the wealth oligarchies are very much present there. When inequalities multiply, distribution suffers, and as I said, people who are not entitled without social entitlement, their suffering grows. On one side, wealth accumulates, and on the other side, poverty, white poverty, becomes even harsher. As a result, social tensions are inevitable in a society. When there are visible signs of opulence on one side and visible signs of poverty on the other, and government policies are perceived to be pro-rich rather than pro-poor, the chances of social cohesion being questioned are very real. It will lead to social tensions, no doubt about that. And weakening of governance systems is perhaps the biggest concern that we should have today. We cannot say that governments are becoming weak. In fact, governments are becoming stronger and stronger in wrong areas. Whereas government is becoming weaker and weaker in social justice and development areas. I'm sure Gopakumaran and Nair would say about how we err on lack of timely decision making and timely implementation. Something is fundamentally wrong with bureaucracy, that is it. The final dimension I'm talking about is what we do in this. What do you and I do in a situation like this? We cannot influence policy. We cannot improve governance. But then there are a few things we can fight. One, of course, the exacerbating situation of corruption. Corruption. You see, I did not talk about it earlier. Why government programs fail? Why government programs are not able to hit the bullseye? Is because a lot of distortions take place between conception and implementation, and that distortions are induced primarily by corruption. Primarily by corruption and less by inefficiency. They are not that the system is inefficient, but system pretends to be inefficient because in that ecosystem, corruption flourishes. So corruption is something with which you and I should have a zero tolerance. Zero tolerance to corruption and 100% accountability of the government machinery. And thirdly, involvement of the local bodies where your responsibility and accountability become a reality. I can go on like this, but I would like to stop here by saying that whatever we do, our agenda at the end of it should be what you and I can do. We can always pass a resolution saying that let World Bank take more wonderful decisions, or let the SDG targets be removed from 2030 to 2050. These are all wonderful things to do, but I think we should be more proactive and think that what you and I can do in our limited environment to ensure accountability, to have zero tolerance to corruption. I would again and again say that as educated people, you should be the last people in the world to do any kind, to tolerate, not only to do any corruption, but even to tolerate corruption. To tolerate corruption, one should fight. One should fight corruption rather than giving in. And that is the only way by which governments will become more sensitive and implementation will become more result-bearing. So this is a subject where I cannot put a full stop, but with a semicolon, I will close it and wish this seminar all success, and thank you for organizing such a wonderful event, and also for beginning the meeting exactly at 10 o'clock, although I did not finish exactly at 10:50. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for introducing, for maybe elaborating on the topic, placing SDG 2 in the Sustainable Development Metrics. So he was speaking on all aspects. He was quoting Abhijit Banerjee. He was speaking on social capital, the social entitlement that is needed, the guiding ethos, ownerships, local participation, etc. as strategies for SDG 2. And lastly, he was motivating all of you to become change agents. How we need to keep zero tolerance towards corruption, and how we as a human being or as a part of the system can motivate ourselves to attain the goal of SDG 2. That was how he ended his speech. So thank you so much, sir. As I was mentioning today, NABARD has been very generous and very confident in us in entrusting us with some research studies. So first one is we did an impact evaluation of WADI model, that is the Integrated Tribal Development Project in RLM and in Wayanad. So we, the Center for Agroecology and Public Health of the Department of Economics, conducted this study, and that is how we met Mini from RLM. We have invited her, and we would like to release the report, these two reports now, and I invite Sri Jayakumar sir to release the reports by handing it over to NABARD CGM. ഇതിൻ്റെ അറ്റം ഒന്ന് ഇളക്കി കൊടുത്തേക്ക്. So one more report we have done, that is on a collaborative study on agriculture marketing infrastructure in Kerala, where we have found out the lacunas in the marketing infrastructure and the policy measures that need to be adopted. This was a large study with somewhat very huge fund from NABARD. That's what I would like to say. So it was an extensive study covering all over Kerala, and we would like to release that report also. So we again request Sri Jayakumar sir to release the report on agricultural marketing infrastructure in Kerala by handing it over to our professor and head of the department, Dr. Sri.K sir. That's available online. NABARD has published it. last one, we have prepared a theme paper on SDG 2, and we would also like to release that. I request CGM of NABARD, Gopakumaran Nair sir, to release the report by handing it over to our dearest Prasad sir. So. Thank you so much. These reports are available online and also in the library, so you can refer that. Thank you.
Good morning to all. Respected Jayakumar sir, Sri.K madam, Manchu madam, other distinguished teachers and students. First of all, my congratulations to the Department of Economics for selecting this very important topic for today's seminar. Secondly, our sincere thanks to the department for allowing NABARD also to co-sponsor this important event. And thirdly and most importantly, I express my sincere thanks for inviting me to come here and spend some time with you. Because this department I have some long relationship. Though they have not allowed me to study here. My associations, my first visit to this department was in 1988 for applying, 86 for applying for MA. So with one reason or another reason I could not join here. I joined University College. That was my selection. Then in 90 I came with a UGC fellowship for joining as a research scholar here. That time also with one reason or another reason, that time nobody was, this vacancy was not here. So I joined again in university library. So in 2012 I came here. Manju madam helped me open my mind up. So I am thankful to this department in completing my PhD also. So the country has progressed enormously since 1990 because of new liberal policy and various other initiatives. But various research shows that this growth has not impacted uniformly across the section. Many studies or assessment indicated that the growth was more than proportionate to the high income group, leaving a larger section of people without much development. They have grown, but not as proportionate to the overall growth of the economy. So perhaps this may have some impact on still continuing larger number of people below poverty line or in hunger. So global, I think hunger index, which rated 121 countries, rate India in 107th position even now. We are having perhaps the largest number of people in below poverty or hunger stage. Perhaps the definition of poverty is going on undergoing changes. It's also might have contributed for this state. Now more and more social indicator or health indicator are being included to assess our living standard also, to assess the status of poverty or hunger or whatever. I think it is all well accepted that a country cannot be claimed as a developed country when a particular section of our people are going bird without food. For some share of our children are born underweight, grown without much nutrition and all those things. So it is imperative that we have to see all our section in our society is growing or it is free from hunger. You may be aware that a larger share of our population is still depending on agriculture. And the latest estimate is roughly more than 40% of our population is depending on agriculture for their livelihood. And you are also aware that less than 12 or 13% of the GDP is coming from agriculture sector. So if we equate these two, you can easily identify where the poverty hotspot lies. The average income of an agricultural household, if we calculate in that way, is hardly 1/3 of an average Indian. And again, the share of people who are living in rural area and the number of small and marginal farmers, all this shows that most of the people who are below poverty line or who are going hungry belongs to the rural area and belongs to the farming community. So developmental initiatives have to be targeted to bring those people above the poverty line and provide adequate livelihood to those set of people. NABARD is mandated for rural prosperity. So we have initiated several initiatives, several programs targeting the rural poor and especially women and underprivileged section of the society. So I can claim that the most important or most successful program that NABARD has initiated, which has impacted heavily on rural poverty, is self-help group bank linkage program. So in 1990 we started a pilot in Karnataka, how the self-help group can be linked with banks and how it will be benefiting the women in the rural area especially. So later this program has taken up by the Reserve Bank of India, Government of India and subsequently state governments. Today I am proud to say that more than 1.1 crore SDGs have been linked with the banking system and 60 lakh SDGs have been given bank credit and more than 11 crore households are member in SDG bank linkage program in the country, and now it is rated as the largest microcredit program in the world. So today SDG's program is not in the hands of NABARD. Everybody else have taken this movement forward and it is now people's movement. So we are proud to introduce that movement in the country and we are happy to see the progress in that front. Another program which Manju Madam was indicating is the tribal development program. We are supporting tribal family by giving direct assistance for developing their orchard and other livelihood interventions. So in Kerala also more than 25 tribal development programs have been sanctioned, benefiting more than 10,000 tribal families directly, and Mini is a direct beneficiary of one of such programs. So similarly, we are also introducing, we have also launched a farmer producer organization. Now Government of India is coming in a larger way in implementing a farmer producer organization. So despite all these things, we think that we are not a very big organization or we don't have much resources to implement so much programs. So what we are doing is we are piloting certain programs and keeping it as a demonstration so that other developmental agents can take some similar program forward. So as indicated by the earlier speakers, our success is the precision in implementing. So there is no leakage in between. We are tightly monitoring the progress and seeing that each rupee spent is reaching the right beneficiary which we are targeted. Most of the going forward, I feel some programs that have benefited more than proportionate for reducing the hunger in the country. My personal feeling is that we need to concentrate on similar programs. You may be aware, one of the programs that has benefited the marginalized people in the country is the MNREG. So its contribution in reducing the poverty and reducing the inequality in the system is immense. So similarly, another program that is that helped the community in reducing the hunger is our public distribution system. I think in the coming years also, if government is intended to reduce the hunger in the country, need to concentrate more and more on this kind of program. Again, if we want to bring equality in the system, heavily we need to invest in two sectors, health and education. So that will be benefiting the downtrodden more than any other sectors. So we have already achieved the food security. I think by the completion of a fifth five-year plan, our food production is sufficient to feed our society. But still, we are far away from our nutritional security. We need to concentrate more and more on providing nutritional security to our people. So recently, Government of India, or even has announced 2023 as the year of millet. So NABARD is also trying to promote millet production and consumption among the society. And I think we need to concentrate more on reinvent the importance of millet in our nutrition in our diet. So we need to, as I have indicated, we need to concentrate more and more on nutritional security, and we need to continue our discussion on nutritional security also, so that our hunger index will improve. So I wish, once again I congratulate Dr. Manchu and her team for organizing this seminar in a grand manner and allowing NABARD to associate with these programs. Wishing all the success during this seminar. I on behalf of NABARD, wish all the best to all the participants who are likely to present their paper and their views here. Thank you.
He was speaking on the need of the program and the contributions that NABARD has been initiating in this field, right from SDGs to FPOs to the Wadi project, everything. And we are very much grateful to him and NABARD for collaborating with the Department of Economics in providing all assistance to the conduct of the program. Thank you so much, sir. And now, felicitations we have with us നമ്മുടെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട നസീബ് സാറ് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. നസീബ് സാറിനെ കുറിച്ച് എനിക്ക് കൂടുതലൊന്നും പറയാനില്ല എന്ന് നിങ്ങൾക്കറിയാം. വി ഓൾ നോ ഹിം. യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ എല്ലാമായ NAC A++ന് വേണ്ടി 24 മണിക്കൂറും പ്രവർത്തിച്ച നസീബ് സാറ് ആശംസകൾ അർപ്പിക്കാൻ വരണമെന്ന് എനിക്ക് നിർബന്ധമായിരുന്നു. രാവിലെ ഞാൻ ഓർമ്മിപ്പിച്ചപ്പോൾ 11 മണിക്ക് ഞാൻ എത്തിയേക്കാം ടീച്ചറെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. സാറിനെ നമ്മൾ വിളിക്കുമ്പോൾ സാർ മഞ്ജു ആണേ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ എന്തുകൊണ്ട് ടീച്ചർ എന്നൊരു വാക്കാണ് ആദ്യം പറയുന്നത്. സോ ആ ഒറ്റ വാക്കിലൂടെ എപ്പോഴും കൂടെ നമുക്ക് somebody is there to guide us, നമ്മളോടൊപ്പമുണ്ട് എന്ന് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റിലെയും ക്യാമ്പസിലെയും ഓരോ ടീച്ചറിനും ഓരോ വിദ്യാർത്ഥിക്കും കൂടെ നിൽക്കുന്നു എന്നൊരു തോന്നൽ ഉണ്ടാക്കി തരുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് തന്നെയാണ് നസീബ് സാറിൻ്റെ വിജയം. എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങൾക്കും ഇപ്പം നമുക്ക് ക്ലാസ് റൂം ഇല്ല എന്ന് കരുതി സാറിനെ കണ്ട് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ കഴിഞ്ഞ സിൻഡിക്കേറ്റ് മീറ്റിങ്ങിൽ 75 ലക്ഷം രൂപയാണ് എക്കണോമിക്സ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റിനൊരു അഡീഷണൽ ബ്ലോക്ക് അനുവദിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. എല്ലാ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റ് ഓരോ പ്രവൃത്തികളും എന്ത് പ്രോജക്റ്റ് ആയാലും എന്ത് സ്റ്റഡി ആയാലും ടീച്ചർ ധൈര്യമായിട്ട് മുന്നോട്ട് പോയിക്കോളൂ എന്ന് പറയാനായി നമുക്ക് നസീബ് സാറുണ്ട്. സാറ് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് അത്ര മനോഹരമാണ്. അപ്പോൾ സാറിനെ ഈ വേദിയിലേക്ക് പട്ടിണിയെക്കുറിച്ച് സംസാരിച്ചാൽ മതി സാർ. ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു.
With the permission of foreign students, I would like to say some words in Malayalam. പ്രിയമുള്ളവരെ, നിങ്ങൾ നടത്തുന്ന ഈ ശ്രേഷ്ഠമായ അക്കാദമിക വെളിച്ചത്തിന് എല്ലാ ആശംസകളും നേരുകയാണ്. വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം ക്വാളിറ്റേറ്റീവ് ആകുന്നത് അത് സാധാരണ മനുഷ്യരുടെ ജീവിതത്തെ അറിയാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ്. അത് പ്രയോഗതലത്തിലേക്ക് പകരാനുള്ള ആർജവം മനസ്സുകൾക്ക് സൂക്ഷിക്കാൻ കഴിയുമ്പോഴാണ് ക്വാളിറ്റി എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ സംഭവിക്കുന്നത്. പാഠപുസ്തകങ്ങളിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരിക്കലും നിങ്ങൾക്കത് ലഭ്യമാകില്ല എന്ന് നിങ്ങൾ തിരിച്ചറിയണം. ക്ലാസ് മുറികളിൽ നിന്നും നിങ്ങൾക്കത് ലഭ്യമാകില്ല എന്ന് തിരിച്ചറിയണം. ക്ലാസ് മുറികളും പാഠപുസ്തകങ്ങളും കേവലമായൊരു ഡ്രൈവിംഗ് പരിശീലനം മാത്രമാണ്. അതിനപ്പുറത്തേക്ക് യുക്തിയുടെയും ചിന്തയുടെയും വലിയ സാധ്യതകൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് ക്വാളിറ്റി എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ സംഭവിക്കുന്നത്. അത്തരം വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം പൂർത്തിയാക്കിയവരെയാണ് ഈ നാടിന് ആവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഈ നാട്ടിൽ എല്ലാവരുടെ കയ്യിലും ഡിഗ്രി ഉണ്ട്, PG സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റുകളുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ മനുഷ്യ നന്മയ്ക്കുതകുന്ന തരത്തിൽ തൻ്റെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തെയും തൻ്റെ അന്വേഷണത്തെയും തൻ്റെ സാധ്യതയും ഉപയോഗിച്ചവരെയാണ് ലോകം അംഗീകരിക്കുന്നത്. ജയകുമാർ സാർ ഈ വേദിയിൽ ഉദ്ഘാടകനായെത്തിയത് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഊർജ്ജസ്വലമായ അന്വേഷണത്തിൻ്റെ സാധ്യതകൾ പൊതുസമൂഹത്തിന് അംഗീകരിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞതുകൊണ്ടാണ്. ആദരണീയനായ അതിഥി നമ്മളിവിടെ ക്ഷണിച്ചു വരുത്തിയത് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ യുക്തിയും ബുദ്ധിയും നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് കൊണ്ടാണ്. അത്തരത്തിൽ സ്റ്റേറ്റിന്, ജനതയ്ക്ക് ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്ന ജ്ഞാനത്തിൻ്റെ വലിയ ലോകത്തെ ആർജിക്കാനുള്ള ദൈക്ഷണികമായ അന്വേഷണ സാധ്യതകളാണ് പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട എൻ്റെ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളുടെ ഭാഗത്ത് നിന്നുണ്ടാകുന്നത്. 1990 ഞാൻ ഈ ക്യാമ്പസിൽ പഠിക്കാൻ വന്ന ഒരാളാണ്. 9 വർഷം മലയാളത്തിൽ MA-യും ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ MA-യും പിന്നെ മറ്റൊരു സർവകലാശാലയിൽ നിന്ന് സൈക്കോളജിയും MPhil-ഉം B.Ed-ഉം PhD-യും എല്ലാം ഞാൻ നേടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇതെല്ലാം നേടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് എൻ്റെ പ്രൊഫസറെടുത്ത് ഞാൻ ചെല്ലുന്ന ഒരു രംഗം ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളെ ഓർമ്മപ്പെടുത്തുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹം എന്നോട് പറഞ്ഞു, നീ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒന്നിൽ ഉറച്ചു നിൽക്കുക, ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒന്ന് ആഴത്തിൽ പഠിക്കുക, ആ പഠിച്ച മേഖലകളിൽ നീ ജീവിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനം. നിങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കുന്നത് എക്കണോമിക്സാണ്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കമ്പോളങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് അറിയുമോ എന്ന് നിങ്ങളുടെ കണ്ണുകളിൽ ചോദിക്കണം. ഇവിടെ ഇന്ന് നിങ്ങൾ പരിചയപ്പെടുത്താൻ കൊണ്ടുവന്നിരിക്കുന്ന സാധാരണ മനുഷ്യരുണ്ടല്ലോ, അവരുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ എന്ത് കോൺട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് നിങ്ങളുടെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിന് കഴിയുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് നിങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കണം. നിങ്ങളെ മഞ്ജു ടീച്ചർ ഇവിടെ സംസാരിച്ചല്ലോ. മഞ്ജു ടീച്ചറിന് 2 ലക്ഷം രൂപയാണ് ഈ സർവകലാശാല ശമ്പളം നൽകുന്നത്. ഈ വേദിയിലിരിക്കുന്ന ഷീജ ടീച്ചറിന് 2 ലക്ഷം രൂപയാണ് ശമ്പളം നൽകുന്നത്. ഇവിടെ ഇരിക്കുന്ന പ്രസാദ് സാറും സിദ്ദിഖ് സാറും മറ്റ് ടീച്ചേഴ്സുമെല്ലാം ഏകദേശം അതേ ശമ്പളമാണ് വാങ്ങുന്നത്. ഒരു ദിവസം, ഒരു മാസം എത്ര ലക്ഷം രൂപയാണ് ഈ സ്റ്റേറ്റ് നിങ്ങളുടെ പഠനത്തിന് ചിലവാക്കുന്നത്? നിങ്ങൾ ചിന്തിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ഒരു വർഷം എത്ര കോടി രൂപയാണ് നിങ്ങളുടെ പഠനത്തിന് ഈ സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ചിലവാക്കുന്നത് എന്ന് നിങ്ങൾ ചിന്തിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ദാ ഈ മുന്നിലിരിക്കുന്ന, നമ്മൾ ക്ഷണിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് വന്നിരിക്കുന്ന ഈ സാധാരണ മനുഷ്യരുണ്ടല്ലോ, അവരുടെ മക്കൾക്ക് ആരോഗ്യ സംരക്ഷണത്തിന് നൽകേണ്ട, അവർക്ക് ഭക്ഷണമൊരുക്കേണ്ട, അവരുടെ ജീവിതം കാത്തു സൂക്ഷിക്കാൻ ഉപയോഗിക്കേണ്ട പണം ഉപയോഗിച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ പഠിക്കുന്നത് എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മൾ മറന്നുപോകരുത്. അവരെ സംരക്ഷിക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് നിങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കുന്നത്, ഞാൻ പഠിക്കുന്നത്. അവരുടെ ജീവിതം സംരക്ഷിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് പ്രധാനം. നമ്മുടെ നാടിൻ്റെ പട്ടിണിയെ യുക്തിഭദ്രമായി എങ്ങനെ അതിജീവിക്കാം, നമ്മുടെ നാടിൻ്റെ സമ്പൽ സമൃദ്ധമായ സാമ്പത്തിക വ്യവസ്ഥയെ എങ്ങനെ സംരക്ഷിക്കാമെന്ന് ഗവേഷണാത്മകമായി അന്വേഷിച്ച് ഭരണാധികാരത്തെയും അധികാര കേന്ദ്രത്തെയും ബോധ്യപ്പെടുത്തേണ്ട പ്രതിബദ്ധതയാർന്ന വലിയ ഉത്തരവാദിത്വത്തിൻ്റെ പേരാണ് വിദ്യാർത്ഥി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അല്ലാതെ രാവിലെ മുതൽ വൈകിട്ട് വരെ ഇന്റേണൽ മാർക്കിന് വേണ്ടി ക്ലാസ് മുറിയിൽ ഇരിക്കുന്നതിൻ്റെ പേരല്ല വിദ്യാർത്ഥി എന്നുള്ളത്. തനിക്കിഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടതെല്ലാം പ്രവർത്തിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ക്യാമ്പസിൽ അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും നടക്കുന്നതിൻ്റെ പേരല്ല വിദ്യാർത്ഥി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. വലിയ അന്വേഷണത്തിൻ്റെ, വലിയ പ്രതിബദ്ധതയുടെ, പ്രതിജ്ഞാബദ്ധമായ പ്രാർത്ഥനയുടെ, ജീവിതത്തിൻ്റെ ശ്രമകരമായ അന്വേഷണ സാധ്യതകളെ വളർത്തുന്നതിൻ്റെ, അധ്യാപകരുടെ തോളിൽ നിന്നുകൊണ്ട് ലോകത്തെ കാണാനുള്ള ആർജവം സൂക്ഷിക്കേണ്ടതിൻ്റെ പേരാണ് വിദ്യാർത്ഥി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഈ ഇരിക്കുന്ന മനുഷ്യരോട് നീതി പുലർത്തേണ്ടതിൻ്റെ പേരാണ് യുവത്വം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഈ ഇരിക്കുന്ന മനുഷ്യരെ സംരക്ഷിക്കാനുള്ള മനസ്സിൻ്റെ പേരാണ് മാനുഷികതയും സാംസ്കാരികതയും എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അല്ലാതെ നമ്മളിടുന്ന വസ്ത്രത്തിൻ്റെ വെളുപ്പിൻ്റെ പേരോ അതിൻ്റെ ബ്രാൻഡിൻ്റെ പേരോ അല്ല എന്നുള്ളത് എൻ്റെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ തിരിച്ചറിയണം എന്ന് മാത്രം നിങ്ങളോട് പറയാൻ ഞാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുകയാണ്. ഭാഗ്യവശാൽ നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യത്തിൻ്റെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ പ്രശ്നം പട്ടിണിയല്ല. ഇന്ന് പട്ടിണി കിടക്കുന്നവർ അപൂർവമാണ് നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിൽ. എൻ്റെ കുട്ടിക്കാലത്ത് അമ്മ ഭിക്ഷ തരണേ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് ഒരു 10 പേരെങ്കിലും എൻ്റെ വീട്ടിലേക്ക് വരുന്നത് ഞാൻ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇന്ന് വളരെ അപൂർവമായി, മലയാളികളില്ലെന്ന് വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം, വളരെ അപൂർവമായിട്ടായിരിക്കും അത്തരം വിളികൾ കേൾക്കുന്നത്. ഒരു പരിധിവരെ, ഞാനത് അടിവരയിട്ട് പറയുകയാണ്, ഒരു പരിധിവരെ പട്ടിണി നമ്മൾ തുടച്ചു മാറ്റി എന്നല്ല ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം. പട്ടിണിയും പ്രാരാബ്ദങ്ങളും ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുകളുമുള്ള കുടിലുകളും ജനങ്ങളും സാധാരണ ജീവിതവും ഈ നാട്ടിൽ നിരവധിയുണ്ട് എന്നെനിക്ക് നന്നായി അറിയാം. പക്ഷേ സംരക്ഷിക്കാനുള്ള സാധ്യതകൾ കൂടി നമ്മുടെ സമൂഹത്തിലുണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ടത്. സംരക്ഷിക്കാനുള്ള സംവിധാനങ്ങൾ നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിലുണ്ട് എന്നതാണ് ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനം. ആ സംവിധാനങ്ങളെ കാത്തു സൂക്ഷിക്കേണ്ടത് ആരാണ്? സെക്രട്ടേറിയറ്റിലെ ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥരും ഭരണാധികാരികളുമാണോ? നിങ്ങളാണ്. കാരണം ഈ നാട് നിങ്ങളുടേതാണ്. നിങ്ങളെയാണ് പഠിപ്പിക്കാൻ ഏൽപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്, നിങ്ങളെയാണ് സംരക്ഷിക്കാൻ ഏൽപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. അല്ലാതെ ഏത് അമ്പലത്തിലും പള്ളിയിലും പോയി പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചാലും നിങ്ങൾ രക്ഷപ്പെടും എന്ന് നിങ്ങൾ കരുതരുത്. ഒരു പള്ളിയും ഒരമ്പലവും ഒരു സാധ്യതയും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സമ്മാനിക്കില്ല. നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രവൃത്തിയിൽ നിന്ന് മാത്രമേ നിങ്ങളുടെ സംരക്ഷണത്തിൻ്റെ വലിയ കവചം നിങ്ങൾക്കുണ്ടാകൂ എന്നുള്ളത് എൻ്റെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ തിരിച്ചറിയണം. അതുകൊണ്ട് പ്രതിബദ്ധതയോടെ ജീവിക്കുന്നതിന്, മനുഷ്യനെ പോലെ പെരുമാറുന്നതിന്, നട്ടലുറപ്പോടെ നിവർന്ന് ഈ നമ്മുടെ ഈ സമൂഹത്തിൽ നടക്കുന്നതിന്, അനീതിയെ ചോദ്യം ചെയ്യുന്നതിന്, ഈ ഇരിക്കുന്ന പാവങ്ങളെ ഹൃദയത്തോട് ചേർത്ത് പിടിക്കുന്നതിന് ആർജവമുണ്ടോ എന്നതാണ് ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ചോദ്യം. അതാണ് ഏറ്റവും വലിയ എക്കണോമിക്സ്. ആ എക്കണോമിക്സിൻ്റെ രീതിശാസ്ത്രങ്ങൾ, ലാവണ്യ രീതികൾ എൻ്റെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട കുട്ടികൾ ഒരു ലിറ്റ്മസ് പേപ്പർ പോലെ ഹൃദയം കൊണ്ട് ഒപ്പിയെടുക്കണം എന്ന് മാത്രം പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട്, അതിന് പറ്റുന്ന ഒരാളെങ്കിലും ഒരു വർഷം ഈ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റിൽ നിന്ന് പുറത്തിറങ്ങിയാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചിലവാക്കുന്ന കോടികൾ ധന്യമാകും എന്ന് മാത്രം ഓർമ്മപ്പെടുത്തിക്കൊണ്ട്, മനുഷ്യനായി ജീവിക്കുന്നത് ശ്രമകരമായ ഉത്തരവാദിത്വമാണ് എന്ന് മാത്രം നിങ്ങളോട് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട്, ഈ മഹത്തായ ജ്ഞാനത്തിൻ്റെ വലിയ വെളിച്ചത്തിന് എല്ലാ ആശംസകളും നേരുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.
നന്ദി, ഒരുപാട് നന്ദി. മനുഷ്യനായി ജീവിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളത് തന്നെയാണ് ഏറ്റവും ശ്രമകരമായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യം. അത് എനിക്കറിയാം, ഇവിടെ ഇരിക്കുന്ന ഓരോ വിദ്യാർത്ഥിയും സാറ് തന്ന മെസ്സേജ് അതുപോലെ ഉൾക്കൊണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടാകുമെന്നും അതനുസരിച്ച് പ്രവർത്തിക്കുമെന്നും ഒരു വിശ്വാസം എനിക്കുണ്ട്. നന്ദി നസീബ് സർ.
Now I invite Sri.K, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, for delivering the vote of thanks.
Good morning all. It is a great pleasure in fact to talk as well as discuss about humanism at the center of the day. So I am so thankful to Professor Manju, who is in fact very eloquently been organizing this kind of programs, at least in the last, I think, 10 years of my life in the campus, in the department. So she keep on organizing all kinds of programs which is in fact have the reflection of the downtrodden. So in that sense, it is a great pleasure to extend the vote of thanks on behalf of the department to all of you basically assembled and the people going to basically speak today as well as tomorrow in the event. മലയാളത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞാൽ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു കുറേ പേര് മലയാളം അറിയാമെന്നുള്ളത്, മലയാളം കൂടി പറയാൻ ഞാൻ വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. മഞ്ജു ടീച്ചർ കഴിഞ്ഞ കുറച്ച് ദിവസമായിട്ട് വളരെ പ്രഗത്ഭമായ തരത്തിൽ ഒരുപാട് സ്റ്റഡീസ്, പ്രത്യേകിച്ചും മാർജിനാലിറ്റീനെ കുറിച്ച്, ഫുഡ് സെക്യൂരിറ്റിയെ കുറിച്ച്, എങ്ങനെയാണ് മനുഷ്യനും നേച്ചറും തമ്മിൽ ഇടപെട്ട് പെരുമാറേണ്ടത്, അതിൻ്റെ മാനുഷികതയെക്കുറിച്ചൊക്കെ ഉള്ള ഒരുപാട് പഠനങ്ങൾ നടത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതെല്ലാം ജനനന്മയ്ക്കാണ് മനുഷ്യ നന്മയ്ക്കാകണം എന്നുള്ള മെസ്സേജ് ഇൻകൾക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ് നമ്മൾ സെമിനാറുകളെല്ലാം സംഘടിപ്പിക്കുന്നത്. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള സംഘടിപ്പിക്കലുകളുടെ എല്ലാം ഒരു ഘോഷയാത്ര എന്ന് കഴിഞ്ഞ കുറച്ച് വർഷമായിട്ടുള്ള നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അതിന് വീണ്ടും അതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് ഇപ്പം നടന്ന് ഇനിയും കൂടുതൽ മെച്ചപ്പെട്ട രീതിയിൽ ടീച്ചറിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുമെന്ന് തന്നെയാണ് വിചാരിക്കുന്നത്. സോ മൈ റെക്കോർഡ് ഈസ് ദാറ്റ് ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ ജയകുമാർ സാർ വളരെ ഗംഭീരമായിട്ടുള്ളൊരു പ്രസംഗമാണ്. പ്രസംഗം എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിനേക്കാളും it is in fact a reflection of the real practitioner. So a pragmatist, as he said in his own words, a pragmatist who is actually reflected what we cannot do in a framework which we dream, rather we aim. So aim is important. Aim has a goal, but dream doesn't have a goal. A dream is an open-ended space where aim is actually a closed-ended objective in that sense. So in that sense, it is categorically clear that when we speak about development, when we speak about progress, we have to put, of course, in an anthropocene world, human is at the center, but at the same time we have to keep in mind that the development of all human beings is alike. It is not the richest having a different developmental strategy than the poor. Even the entitlement is actually a deprivation, but deprivation by who is the question. How I am being deprived is also an important question in the world of discussion. So all this probably will be unleashed in the coming days. With this, let me thank our honorable head of the department who has presided the session. On behalf of all of us, I am extending a hearty thanks to be part and a parcel of organizing all these events. Then, of course, our Manju teacher, who is the organizing secretary of the program, as well as many activities in the agroecology center as well as the department. So, as a record, I extend hearty thanks for keep organizing, and please continue the journey, and we will be with you in all kinds of endeavor in that sense. Thank you so much. And of course, the people who are behind these kind of activities, a funding agent rather. Of course, NABARD is so grateful, and they are actually extending a lot of support to a Center for Agroecology in that sense, and believing in the University of Kerala, in the Agroecology Center, and believing all the faculty cohort who is in fact working in the university. I am thankful on behalf of the department to the entire organization of the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. Thank you so much. And of course, today's man of the day, it is in fact Professor K. Jayakumar, who had given a wonderful lecture, and as usual, it is not a new thing. Basically, I keep on listening to him at least the last couple of decades. So in that context, he had given an extensively brilliant lecture on putting human at the center of the discussion. So thanks, we are extending thanks to him on a formal note of accord. So thank you. In his absence, thanks Professor K. Jayakumar, IAS. And indeed, our Nazeeb sir, who had extended the felicitation and made a very electrifying speech in Malayalam. So as a part of Syndicate, as well as part of the community, teaching community, he is always with all of us. So on behalf of the entire students, faculty members, participants, we are extending our thanks to him also. Thank you so much. And of course, last but not the least, the participants as well as the presenters who are going to do the next sessions, and of course the beneficiaries of the program. So as a formal Thanksgiving, I am extending thanks from bottom of my heart to everyone who is participating in this program. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you for giving me this opportunity to extend thanks.